Hey guys, this is in case you missed Snapshot on July 7th. We just took a quick look at the fifth book in the Bible. It's called Deuteronomy, and it's where God gives us the Ten Commandments. He gives them to Moses to give to the Jewish people. And we're looking in chapters 5 and 6. In chapter 5, that's where he gives the Ten Commandments. In chapter 6, he tells them, remember these and tell these to your kids. Write them on everything. Have them around your house. Talk about them when you go out and walk. These are super important. And this comes up because when I was in Mexico, I was talking with a friend who does prison ministry. And he was talking to a guy who had been homeless since he was 6 years old. His parents abandoned him, and he lived in cars and vacant buildings and did whatever he had to do to survive. And this guy was about 20 years old, and he's in prison now. And he came to a Bible study, and he was talking to my friend about this. And he always said that he always wondered that when he bought like a stereo system or a bike or something, that you would have this big instruction manual that would tell you everything you needed to do, what parts you were supposed to have, where they were supposed to fit together, how you put them together, what you do to keep the thing working correctly. And he said, I really wish that somebody would have done that for life. Like, I just don't know how to live, that's why I ended up here. I wish there was an instruction manual for life. And it was really awesome because my friend got to start telling him about the Bible, and he said, God wrote that for us. And I always hated, the reason we're looking at Deuteronomy, I want you to read, go ahead and read Deuteronomy chapter 5 and 6, it's the fifth book in the Bible, go for it. It used to confuse me because it just looked like a bunch of rules that God was just like, hey, make sure you do this, but don't do this, do this, but don't do this. I never really got it. But it says in Deuteronomy 6 that God was going to give the Israelite people, the Jewish people, this land. They were just slaves in Egypt, and he said, He saved them from that, and he said, I'm going to give you this land that is full of everything you need. Houses that you didn't build, food that you didn't have to harvest. And it made me think that it would be like when you turned 18, if your parents were like super rich, and they got you a big old house that was completely furnished with everything, that they gave you a bank account with tons of money in it, that they gave you freezers full of food, all the food you could have, and they just wanted to sit down and be like, hey, here are some rules, so that way you can keep what you have good, and what we give you now will take care of you for the rest of your life. And you just refuse to listen to the rules. You go, you have big parties, you spend all your money, your house starts falling apart. You have none of the things that they gave you. That's exactly what happened to the Israelite people. If you read the Old Testament, that's what happened. But something else caught my eye. In chapter 5, when God, after he gave the Ten Commandments, he was super excited about it, which I was like, I never noticed that before. He was really excited because he was like a parent sharing this wisdom with his children. He said, this is what you need to do to live a good life. It's all in here. It's not going to tell you the name of the person you're going to marry, or where you're going to work, or where you should go to school. But through the stories, we can see what God's heart is, and we can see what he knows. He's the creator of everything, and he knows what works and what doesn't work. So get into his word, start reading it. Let the wisdom that comes from the one who created everything get inside you and change your heart and change the way you think about things, so that you can truly live a good life, instead of just making it up as we go. Because if we just try to buy something new and put it together on our own, we normally come up with with extra parts, and stuff falls apart and it can hurt us. And the same thing happens with life. Why go through it and just make mistakes and learn as you go that way, when God has a plan for us, and he knows what's good for us. So take some time, start reading his word, start Deuteronomy chapter 5 and 6. Love you guys. Take care.